Alright then boys, how's it going? So in this video, I'm going to show you the best loadouts to use in Warzone Ranked. As you can see, I'm a top 250 player. I'm currently sitting at number 230 on the leaderboard, which is not that great. But I've just finished doing my degree, so now I've got so much more time to put into the game. But yeah, in this video, I'm going to show you all the best loadouts to use in Warzone Ranked and any kind of competitive play. You know, if you want to get those high kill games, if you want to gain the SR, climb the ranks, etc. These are the loadouts you should be using. All these loadouts are based on stats from sim.gg and true game data, as well as just my own preference and, you know, for knowing how the game plays, what you need, etc., and what's important. These builds will pretty much be used by all pros. I can pretty much guarantee. There may be like one or two slightly different attachments, but for the most part, all pros are going to be rocking more or less the same kind of guns. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so this is pretty much the number one loadout that I'm using right now. I mean, pretty much all pros are going to be using this single tap cronen squall with an MP5 and then, you know, obviously smokes. So I'm going to go through, you know, the equipment and stuff like that, and then the perks first, then we'll get into the guns. So for your tactical, you just want smoke grenades. You know, you don't really need anything else. You know, obviously stuns and flashes are kind of nice to have, but smoke grenades, you know, in this game with how quick you die and how little movement there is, you need smoke grenades to be able to move around the map. If you ever watch the customs tournament, there's just smoke grenades going off left and right because they just give you so much freedom in the way that you move. And you know, if you want to be pushing to get those higher ranks, you're gonna need smoke grenades on, absolutely. So moving into the equipment, there's pretty much only two options that you should be running here, and that is drill charges or semtexes. Now I know you've probably seen a lot of pros, especially when they play pubs, maybe running thorn knives, you know, to get those finishes on the down players. You know, you instantly down the guy, throw a knife and run away. But in ranked, you don't really want that. You know, you want your teammates to come over, shoot that player once so they get the SR as well, especially if you're playing at the high ranks. So when you know you've got entry fees like 150 SR, etc. You can't just be throwing knife in your kills and not letting your team get that SR, otherwise you're not really going to climb very much. So for me, it's drill charges, otherwise semtexes are also pretty good as well. So moving on to perks. Now obviously I run overkill on this class, so I've got overkill as one of my perks, and then I'm running double time, fast hands, and ghost. Now perks can be debatable. I think a lot of pros may be running like kind of the same perks or maybe very slightly different. Obviously overkill's, you know, you can't really get rid of overkill. So then if you want to replace double time, your only options really are going to be battle hardened or bomb squad. Now a lot of people aren't going to be running any stuns or flashes. You don't want battle hardened, and then I guess that leaves the only other option to be bomb squad. Personally, I just think the movement you get from double time just feels so nice. I just feel like half a player without double time, but double time or bomb squad, absolutely. Perk 3 for me got to be fast hands. A lot of people do run resupply though to get them extra smokes and drill charges. Both of those are really good options, and you've probably seen a lot of thermal scopes in loadouts lately, but cold-blooded doesn't actually work properly, so unfortunately we can't be running cold-blooded. Final perk, it's either high alert or ghost, but the amount of UAVs people are going to be popping, like, you don't want to be on that UAV, you don't want people to get that intel on you, so gotta be ghost for me. So now for the main part of the video, the guns. Now the semi-auto cronen squall is currently just so broken. The time to kill is just crazy. I'm expecting this to get nerfed fairly soon, but at the time I'm making this video, the single tap cronen squall is the #1 gun without a doubt. And you can just see when you go on the firing range, you know, there's really not very much recoil on this gun. It's pretty straightforward to use, and if you're like team shooting a guy, they just do not stand a chance. Like, this gun is just so overpowered. Like, this is just so cheese at the moment. Everyone in the top 250 is running this, and there's a pretty good reason why. And yeah, so these are the cronen squall attachments. So I'm using the Tempest GH50 muzzle. I have it tuned like so. The reason why I'm using this is because it actually gives the most recoil control according to sim.gg. You're going to see a lot of pros running, you know, the second trade or maybe a silencer, but this one actually gives more recoil control according to the stats, so we're going with this one. Same situation with Edge 47 grip. Got it tuned just like so. According to sim.gg, this one gives the most stats. Then it's the HR 6.8 barrel with this kind of tuning here, just to get that extra damage and recoil, because this gun does have quite a lot of recoil if you don't put the attachments on. Then it's a 50 round drum, and then the holotherm optic. First time I've ever used this optic, but with all the smokes and how cheese this single tap gun is, like, it just works so well. This is the tuning that we rock on that. And yeah, that's it for the cronen squall. So moving on to the MP5, this is pretty much the #1 secondary. Everyone's running the MP5. Like, there's a lot of slightly different builds going on out there, but for me, this is my favorite build right now. This is what I'm rocking. So I'm rocking the shark fin underbarrel because it doesn't really give you any downsides at all. Got it tuned just like so if you want to copy that. Now for ammunition, I run hollow point. Now if you've ever been on the receiving end of someone using hollow point, they literally shoot flashbangs at you. Like, this thing is crazy, to be honest. Don't really think these ammunition types should even be in the game. I used to use overpressured, then I put this on and I realized you can tune the bullet velocity, damage range, and like, it's just so cheese. Like, it's so cheese. You don't really know how good it is until you're on the receiving end of it. Then we got the 40 round mag. The 50 round mag just kind of, you know, it gives you too many movement penalties, and for a submachine gun you want to be very fast for those close range engagements. 40 round mag is just much better. Mia recoil 56 factory stock. That's the stock I'm running. This is the tuning I'm running on that as well. So if I just come into the firing range here to show you how this thing shoots. Now close range, obviously really good. Medium range, really good. Aim down sight time as well, really good. And if you look at the long range target, now Obviously, that's 50 meters. I'm hitting that fairly easily considering this is a sub. So for me, this is just the best. Next best option for long range is the ISO Hemlock. This is still really good. The only reason people aren't using this now is just because the Squall is just so overpowered. Like, once that gets nerfed, I'm expecting everyone's just going to come straight back to the Hemlock. Oh, I've got my ranked overlay covering over the optic. I'm just going to get rid of that. So yeah, this is the build that I'm using on the Hemlock. Same build I've been running for a while. I'm just going to fly through this. We all know what the Hemlock does now. Harbinger D20 muzzle, tuned to recoil and bullet velocity. Then we got the Fielder T50 barrel, which is tuned to kind of the same thing, except if you leave it in the middle of damage range there, you'll get a bit more out of it. Edge 47 grip with recoil and aim and idle stability. Then we get the 45 round mag, and we're not actually using the thermal on this. I know a lot of people have been doing that, but for me, I'm only using the thermal on the Squall at the moment because I'm not even thinking about this gun. I may go to the thermal, but for now, I'm still sticking with the recharge optic, tuned like so. Feel free to put a thermal on this. It probably is better, to be honest. And that is pretty much it for the loadouts. Now, those are pretty much the only guns I'm using at the moment. The Warozne got nerfed a little bit too hard. It's just not quite the same anymore. And obviously for ranked, you want to be using the best of the best. So the only other class I have to show you is this one. Now, look at the secondary. So this is a pistol. And now you can shoot this pistol while you're underwater. And that is the main thing. It's pretty much like a submachine gun that you can shoot underwater. So if you get any zones that end near the water, then this thing is just like, this is your best friend. So if there's a loadout late game and you know we're near water, I would go grab it and get this gun. This is the build that I'm rocking on it. Honestly, this is still quite a new gun. I'm not fully sure about the stats and stuff of this gun yet. I'm not sure if they're out. Last time I checked, the stats weren't out, but honestly, you only really use this thing to hip fire underwater anyway. So yeah, this is the build that I'm rocking. I'm going to start with the rear grip. My webcam's covering it there, but it's the F-Tac Stead rear grip and it's tuned just like so. So then moving on, we get the stock, which is the Siege wire stock, tuned just like this. And then we go to the laser, which is tuned just like this. It's mostly just like a movement build, you know. We got the 50 round drum because I think the 72 is just a bit too much and a bit too heavy. And then the muzzle is the Bruin pendulum tuned just like so. And so there is one final weapon that people are using in ranked, and that is the FGX Imperium, aka the Intervention. Personally, I don't really like sniping. It is a great gun, but it's just not really my kind of playstyle, so I don't use it. But nonetheless, this is the class that everyone uses on the FGX Imperium. Now, the tuning on this one is a little bit interesting, so I'll go through that in a sec. Obviously, the main attachment is the explosive ammo. I actually have this tuned slightly towards recoil and then bullet velocity. Now, you don't want damage range because no matter what, it's going to be one bullet to the head, and that's what you're aiming for. So help out with the recoil the best you can and save yourself some stats there. And then nil sound 90 for the muzzle. We got this tuning right here. Bullet velocity, recoil again, pretty straightforward. Moving on to the barrel, it's a Fahrenheit 29 with recoil and then aim down sight speed because, as I said before, you don't really need that damage range. Aim down sight speed is going to be a lot more valuable, especially in a competitive kind of environment such as ranked. And then moving on to the tuner for the VLK laser, I have it just like so. The left side I don't have tuner because I don't really think that it's very valuable. Like, I don't think sprint to fire time is very important on a sniper because you're not using it like a submachine gun. Aim walk and steadiness doesn't really do much either, so I've just left it in the middle, get like the best of both worlds sort of thing. And then at the bottom I've got to tune to aim down sight speed. Then the final attachment is the optic, which is of course personal preference. Most pros are pretty much using the Forge Tac Delta. I don't think I've seen any others, but like, the optic is not what makes the gun good. It's just whatever you feel more comfortable hitting your shots in, or feel free to change this. But nonetheless, this is the tuning that I rock on this. Aim down sight speed, and then for this one I just leave, you know, close and far, just leave it in the middle the best I can. And yeah, so that is it for the best loadouts in ranked. I hope you enjoyed. If you found this helpful, please leave a like, and also I would really like to know, what is your go-to gun for Warzone ranked? What guns do you find most successful? Let me know in the comments down below. I'll be checking them. And yeah, without further ado, I shall catch you in the next video.